Thanks for checking out the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to see your deck featured on the channel, hang out with me and the amazing BoshNRoll community on Discord, access to my lists and sideboard guides before tournaments, or book an individual coaching session, check out the Patreon and YouTube member links in the video description. Use the code BoshNRoll to get 10% off the best Magic apparel on the market at coalesceapparel.shop. If you want to play what I'm playing, use my affiliate link to order cards from tcgplayer.com, or play any deck, anytime, with a Magic Online loan account from cardhoarder.com. Thanks again for being here. Now let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel for another Legacy video. Today, at the request of Patreon subscriber Sam, I am bringing out of retirement one of my favorite cards ever, Monastery Mentor. This is the card that inspired my choice to become a Monk token when I won the Star City Invitational, and to my dismay, kind of fell off for a while. It was an eternal staple at the time when I made that decision. It persevered for several years after, and then just sort of fell off. But we're back. All things are cyclical. The Legacy metagame moves and breathes. As control decks got harsher and harsher on creatures, Monastery Mentor got worse. And now as answers to creatures skew towards Pyroblast, a white creature gets better. When answers skew towards Planeswalkers, the 2/2 creature gets better. When we're talking about 1-for-1 removal like Lightning Bolt, being able to play Mentor and immediately cast Ponder to leave a friend behind, even if you get bolted, you still have a creature. It's just a really good time to be a Mentor deck. And as the metagame adjusts into things like Death and Taxes and Green-White Depths and these non-blue creature-centric strategies that are really good at squeezing the options of blue decks and Delver decks, etc., sometimes you just ram a Monastery Mentor into play, make 2 monks, and go. And there's nothing they can do to keep up. Very excited to explore this style of deck again. And it is, of course, tucked into the Jeskai control shell. We've got Swords to Plowshares, Prismatic Ending, Ponder, Brainstorm, Force of Will, Expressive Iteration, all the things you'd expect. The Planeswalker split is 3 Narset. I like that number. Narset's just a good card all on its own, doesn't really need any help. 2 Teferis. Teferi's a card I'm getting softer on in general, like as the metagame moves. Teferi just hasn't really impressed me much lately. This deck's a little more aggressively slanted, so I kind of like having this do or die 3-drop where I answer this or you don't get to answer anything anymore and clear the way for Mentor. I like that. Plus, Teferi gets better the more things in your own deck you want to bounce, and this deck has 2 Snapcaster Mages that you're happy to pick up and refire for value. If you ever get up into this Solitude and cast it twice, that's a good game. I like Teferi, of course, but I suspect we'll see it boarded out a lot just based on the metagame movement that I've experienced lately in the leagues. Wandering Emperor is a card I'm absolutely in love with. I wish there were 2, but I'm going to trust Sam's judgment here. The slots that would normally be additional Planeswalkers are extra Force of Negations, because when you're on 3 Mentor and you're just ready to jam, having cheap or free interactions really important. That's also why you see 2 Pyroblast in the main deck. My god. This list is stacked really hard for Delver specifically, with the 2 main deck Pyroblast and Blue Mirrors, which mostly don't exist. It's just Jeskai. Jeskai Mirrors. Grixis is not as popular as I think it should be, and Bant has largely fallen off completely. Uro is just not who he once was. But like we said at the start of this video, the metagame's cyclical. Uro will have his day again. But right now, Pyroblast is the center of attention. I actually want to make a change here. I'm going to move one of these Pyroblasts into the sideboard and main deck one of the Flusterstorms. Flusterstorm is one of my favorite things to do with a Monastery Mentor. It doesn't work like Sedgemoor Witch. You don't get a monk for every copy of Flusterstorm, unfortunately. But just 4 mana Mentor holding up Flusterstorm go feels really good. Flusterstorm also interacts with the type of things that are good against this deck, which is like Thoughtseize. Not a popular card in the metagame, but it is part of the decks that you're bad against, which are mostly combo decks. I'll run the risk of Flusterstorm being less good than Pyroblast. Because it just does a different thing, which it protects Mentor in a way that I'm extremely interested in. And Flusterstorm is going to be just as bad against Death and Taxes as Pyroblast. It's going to be better against like green-white depths. And it's going to be better against Storm or Combo, which I've been seeing a lot of lately, Reanimator, all those decks Flusterstorm is going to be better against. It's going to be worse against specifically Delver, but it will still have play there as well. So that's the one change I'm going to make to the 75. Otherwise, this is a stacked Mentor strategy. It knows exactly what it's trying to do. Lots of cheap or free permission, backed up by card advantage to keep the Mentor pumping. And the sideboard is just like bang, triple Surgical Extraction, bang, double Meltdown, bang, double Kozilek's Return. It knows exactly who's in the targets, and it's gunning for them. Let's see if it lines up. I'm on the draw in round 1. I'm going to keep this hand. If we're in any kind of fair matchup, this hand's great. If we're playing against Combo, we're probably dead. Duress. Looks like a combo deck. Good for us. But if it's Reanimator, Swords of Plowshares does hit. Not as hard as I'd like, but it does hit. Dramatic Ending. Just about the worst draw imaginable after you get Duressed off of Basic Swamp on turn 1. This is what I was talking about those that Flusterstorm over Pyroblast for the Moto Leagues. In a challenge, it makes sense to load up against Delver, but we'll just don't really play Delver that much in leagues. Okay, here we go. It's not Reanimator. Getting Thought Seized. Okay. Does Peer into the Abyss? Are we Galvanic Relaying? What's going on here? Getting our fins tinned? Oh, Doomsday. Yeah, that makes sense. Story checks out. Is this a mono black Doomsday, or are they just on a... Oh, they have Cabal Ritual. This is not just like a weird draw from regular Doomsday. Though I think I've seen Cabal Ritual creeping into traditional Doomsday decks. I don't know. I need a good draw. I also named Thoughtseize specifically as the type of card we're soft to when I put that Flusterstorm in the main deck. So fundamentally, theoretically, I was in the right ballpark for what we expect in the Moto Leagues. I don't have the card, obviously, but would have been good. Okay, they're making their pile. There are blue cards in here. Okay, this is a normal Doomsday deck, just with a weird mono-black Cabal Ritual draw. It is going to be interesting seeing them figure this out from Basic Swamp. I've played some Doomsday in my day, and having the mana to do everything you want and make Oracle can be pretty tough. Brainstorm off the top would be a dream here. Force of Negation. All right, no blue card to go with that at the moment. See what we're dealing with here. Lotus Petal. That's a blue source. Consider. Oh, Mailed to Pactum Negation. LED. Okay, this checks. This works. All right, yeah, they're on the old Consider line, which a lot of Doomsday decks are off, but that it does work here. It's a very tight package. Most Doomsday decks aren't doing it anymore. There's 0 cards in hand, 0 cards in deck. Beautiful. Doomsday indeed. Flusterstorm wins me that game. It's all good. Well done. Okay. Flusterstorm's coming in. Let's take a look at what's in this deck. All of the cantrips you'd expect are here. Duress, Thoughtseize, 1, 2, 3. I have 3 discard spells in this deck, and I cast 2 of them. It's an outrage. Okay. Flusterstorm's definitely coming in. Prismatic Ending's definitely coming out. I like these various Pyroblasts. Beating up on their cantrips is a way through this. Solitude sucks ass. Surgical Extraction is a card you can play. It's not high impact against Doomsday, but it's probably going to do more than like a Swords to Plowshares for me. Blood Moon is probably worth putting in the deck. You'd have a pretty tough time winning through that. What would I cut for it? I like Wandering Emperor. I like all my threats. I like every blue card. I might be out of cuts here. I actually like the first Blood Moon more than the third Surgical. That's a lot better. Okay, let's do it. We'd probably check for Tundras here. Volcanic Island. Okay, so they're a Grixis version, which is good because some of the Doomsday decks pivot onto just being a Turbo Mentor deck after board. And I just boarded out all my removal. Okay, I'm going to keep this hand. I'm going to Flooded Strand pass. If they turn one duress me, I'm going to wish I had pondered first. If they cast a ponder of their own, I'm going to red blast it. This is what the Rebs are in the deck for. Their blue cards are not their payoffs. Their blue cards are their setup. And I'm here to beat up on it. Force of Will, I like those. Still going to ponder. Another Pyroblast. And Snapcaster Mage. I believe there's a basic mountain in the deck. Yes, there is exactly one basic mountain in the deck. I'm going to put this Pyroblast in my hand and hope that I don't need to use it. Oh, I actually should have just put Snapcaster in my hand because fetching basic mountain here means I don't get to cast Mentor next turn. Yeah, I'm probably just not. Yeah, I'm off it. I'm going to draw a Snapcaster next turn, fetch the basic planes, play Mentor with Force backup, and present a problem for them. Or I'm just going to get duressed and die. Took my Force, of course, of course. Do I still want Snapcaster Mage? I think so. I'm going to run the risk here. Slam Mentor into play. It's a huge clock. Casting Doomsday puts them to 10. Kind of tough to deal 10 with a single Mentor in this deck. And it's possible I just lose on the spot if their hand is well sculpted. There's a Dark Ritual. It's not looking good, team. Let's see if they have the follow-up to win immediately, or if I get a draw step to try to make something happen. Exile the Deep Analysis. They're not going for that. Great Wraith, Edge of Autumn. Okay, I'm getting a turn here. Blood Moon's a great draw. Or just, you know, a third Monastery Mentor. I'm going to ponder. Ponder. I'm kind of looking for Surgical because that could mess up their Doomsday pile. At least, like, the things happen in the wrong order. Alright. They hooked me into committing to the ponder. And now I am just dead to their Doomsday pile with no interaction. This matchup's really bad, just for the record. And especially if they duress you a lot, which this opponent has done. They have used their Lion's Eye Diamond to Ideas Unbound. Really, if I just left up red, I would have won. Alright. So I fucked this one up, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, there's lots of piles that win without doing Ideas Unbound. Maybe I could have studied the Exile pile more, but I frequently board out Ideas Unbound when I'm on Doomsday against decks with Pyroblast. I don't know. It's a level game of, like, what's in their pile versus, like, do I advance my board? Do I try to ponder? I was trying to spike the Surgical and shuffle up their pile, buy myself one turn with Mentor. It was all it would have taken to win the game. If the ponder resolves and finds a land that can fetch Mountain, I still have Pyroblast up. Versus just, like, pass the turn doing nothing, holding up Pyroblast and hope it holds. Game was definitely winnable. Like, look at the cards that they're showing me. Their pile doesn't work if I hold up Pyroblast. Oof. That stings. On to the next one. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. I'm on the play, and look at my opponent's username. It's Island Ponder Scoop, which is perfect because I'm literally about to Island Ponder keep this hand. I am going to hold up Flusterstorm, though, because I don't need to ponder right now. My second land drop is here. Nothing is really... There's nothing I need to ponder for right now, and Flusterstorm can interact with if I get Dark Ritual Duress again. I'm ready for that. Run out my Vista and ship it. The Plateau is in my hand, which is a land I am historically not interested in having in my Jeskai decks. Let's see how bad it is for me here. Oh. My opponent is going to discard. Alright, their Reanimator on a discard strat. Okay. Holding up Flusterstorm appears to be correct. The Archon of Cruelty also is not Grizzlebrand, not by a long shot. So this Swords to Plowshares lines up pretty well. Dark Ritual is probably where I want to point my Flusterstorm, but I'm not gonna. Because Dark Ritual opens up Thoughtseize, but I have multiple points of interaction here. I'm not even really that worried about Thoughtseize. I could also just fluster the Thoughtseize now. Yeah, I might as well fluster it. so they can't see my hand. They don't know what they need to play through. Like, Flustering the Dark Ritual stops this turn from happening, but it loses my best piece of interaction, where if they just like go for a reanimate here, if Fluster pays out. Okay. So they're gonna pay for the Thoughtseize now and still be able to reanimate. They figured it out. They're gonna take the Plow. If I draw a land naturally, I can snap Plow, or if I ponder into another Plow, I can remove this Archon either way. Or maybe their reanimate spell just isn't reanimate, and they'll have to pass the turn because they don't have 2 mana. Got me though. Took the Plow. And my calculation of Flustering the Thoughtseize was based on Thoughtseize is going to take an answer anyway, so I'm going to spend an answer on the Thoughtseize, but the Dark Ritual pushed through in a way that is pretty bad for me. Okay, I'm going to discard Narset, because if they reanimate my Mentor, that's the way I lose the game, even if I spike the land here. Alright, come on, land that is not Mystic Sanctuary. Snap Plow City, come on, Snap Plow, easy game. Snapcaster, get that Swords of Plowshares. Glad that card is not Grizzlebrand. And they have 4 cards in hand. I'm F6'd. Let's see where this goes. 2 mana, that's enough to Entomb reanimate. Please don't though. Well, there's the Entomb. My life is pain. I've tried so hard. Okay, they didn't have the reanimate right away. That might mean they have Animate Dead, or they were just trying to resolve an Entomb while the getting was good. I think I just want to shove with Mentor here. I'm gonna get a Tundra, then play Mentor and Ponder. I have answers to resolved creatures. Reanimator game 1 normally isn't good at contesting a board state. They're good at ripping your hand apart, though. Oh, yes. Okay. This Mystic Sanctuary is tapped, so I will tuck the Plow on top, put EI in my hand, and attack for 2. This way, even if they Animate Dead a Grizzlebrand here and draw a bunch of cards and unmask me, I still have Plow floating on top, which can remove the Grizzle and trigger Mentor and get Rowdy. And if they just have nothing, I'm going to EI them into the dust. Yep, there's the Animate. Got it. Drawing 7. You're at 8. Plow is regrettably going to give them a lot of life to work with, but getting Grizzlebrand out of play is important. If they can like Dark Ritual their way into another Entomb and Exhume and have a second creature, that sucks. Pitchcast Grief. Exiling Exhume or Entomb to do it. That means they're either rolled up on ways to enable graveyard stuff, or they're just off that. God, Dark Ritual. Yeah, rolled up is the answer, it seems. Yeah, another Entomb. Jesus. Okay, we were having a good time for a minute there. Now the Archon is actually good. Exhume. I get Source of Plowshares, Exile Archon. Yeah, I'm just dead. No way through this one. That was gross. Okay, time to load up these sideboard cards. The Flusterstorm, the 3 Surgicals, all good stuff. Hydroblast can hit Faithless Looting, if that's... Yeah, that's a card in their deck. Solitude's great. The Fairy's kind of medium. Prismatic Ending is actually bad. Solitude's good. All the forces are good. The card advantage are good. Yeah, this makes sense to me. Let's go. I guess I'll keep this, even though I don't really trust Force of Will to win a game on its own. Gonna Tundra pass. Maybe I'll start off with a Faithless Looting over there. Nope, not off that swamp, they won't. Clean little Thoughtseize. Like the EI. Interesting. That's a combo player play pattern of taking the thing that changes the hand. Like, they know what I'm capable of right now, and there's comfort in that, even though, like, seeing Force of Will is more comfortable than not knowing what I have going on. Speaking of which, I'm going to put the 2 forces on top and draw the Brainstorm. And I can Brainstorm into 3 forces if I need to. I think I want to Brainstorm in response to this. I'm gonna brainstorm and put back Tundra and one of the forces. They can't take me off Force Blue card with this Thoughtseize, and then I have another force coming after that. I'm setting up the 2-turn line to Mystic Sanctuary EI. There's the force, played my land. I'm gonna shuffle away the Tundra, grabbing a Volcanic Island. They've missed a land drop, which is scary. Means the hand is 7 spells right now. The third Thoughtseize. Have another look. Okay, they kept a 1-lander with 3 Thoughtseizes. Oh shit, that should not be in my deck. Hard punished. Yeah, that card should have been boarded out. Maybe they'll go Lotus Petal Show and Tell right now. Unmask, come on. Unmask, pitching Animate Dead. Alright, I think they have successfully worked through all of my interaction here. This is where we get Dark Ritual reanimated. Oh, we're gonna get a turn. We're gonna get to do something. Mystic Sanctuary, give me that expressive iteration. Draw that. EI. Flusterstorm in my hand. Lanes on the bottom. Exile Flooded Strand. Okay. Got nothing going on here, but I do have another layer of protection. Okay, they're flustering, or they're unmasking me again, or yeah, still targeting me. Pitching another animate. Alright, fluster it. They have Dark Ritual, they can pay for fluster, but if they do that, then they would have to care about the 2 cards in my hand, which I don't think they do. Unless we've been dancing this whole game around a Faithless Looting, like Lotus Petal Faithless Looting, and me just randomly having Hydroblast has collapsed their plan. The Unmask was countered, but it did get the Flusterstorm out of my hand, which I'm sure was its goal. There's Lotus Petal. Faithless Looting? Was I right? Alright, deck, let me get a Narset here. Something to really slam the door. The 5th Force of Will. Or 4th Force of Will. I'll take it, I guess. Are you out of discard spells yet? 5 turns, 5 discard spells. Uh-oh. Hitting land drops now. Their hand must be some red card that they need. And now I have an unknown in my hand. If they're over there doing the math, that it's probably not Force of Will. Incorrect. Hey. Counter that, please. Found a target. Another Faithless Looting. I'm going to let this resolve. Normally you want to fight over the enabler and not the payoff, but they've used so many discard spells. If I can trick them into sinking or reanimate this turn, I don't know. This might be wrong. But I also don't love countering a spell, like using the last hard counter in my hand on something they can just flash back next turn. Oh, didn't discard a monster. Discarded Exhume and Dark Ritual. Interesting. There's Entomb. Okay. This one I'm going to fight over, which may seem weird that I fought over this and not the Faithless Looting, and you're right. In my brain, maybe this doesn't make sense outside of my brain, but in my head, Faithless Looting isn't a guaranteed thing, or it's not a guaranteed good thing, and Entomb is a guaranteed good thing. If the last card in their hand was Reanimate, even then I think going after the Entomb is better, because now if it reanimates in their hand, I just countered both of these spells instead of just the Reanimate, and top decking becomes harder for them. Narset. Fuck. Faithless Looting from hand. Yeah, this Pyroblast is really embarrassing. If I had sideboarded correctly, this would have been a spell. Like, maybe not even a good spell, but literally a spell. Probably would have kept in a Teferi if I had remembered this thing was in my deck, and this card would be Teferi instead. Oh, show and tell. I'm a genius. I'm a fucking genius. Things I did completely on purpose include leaving Pyroblast in my deck for show and tell. Snapcaster Mage, what's up? I'm putting that card in my hand with a Ponder under it. Now we're cooking. I'm going to start making land drops because Snapcaster EI gets kind of hungry. I would like to snap EI, but leaving the Flusterstorm in my graveyard on this turn where they're not really doing anything makes sense to me. They are 22 cards into their deck without seeing a monster yet. I'm not fighting over these Faithless Lootings. At this point, I got bigger fish to fry. Still didn't discard a monster. Dark Ritual Exhume hit the graveyard. Okay. I'm going to Snapcaster this expressive iteration. I think digging for a surgical at this juncture is better than just holding up Snap Ponder. Force negation in hand. Land on the bottom. Exile Flooded Strand. Cast Ponder from hand. There's a surgical. Don't shuffle that. Play the Flooded Strand. Okay. Top of my deck is a pair of cantrips. I can hardcast Force negation and surgical this turn. They go land Grief. I'm kind of clowned here. But other than that, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm going to let these Faithless Lootings happen. I have the protection now. I'm not really worried about things that would come out of it, except for land hardcast Grief, which is pretty annoying. But starting next turn with my Brainstorm, I should be able to make that work. Brainstorm. I'm going to start doing stuff like, oh yeah, EI, what's up? And fetch. Grab this Volcanic Island. Use it to cast EI. Solitude in my hand. Land on the bottom. Exile Narset. Now we're cooking. Narset, use her. Found Flusterstorm, Swords of Plowshares, Narset, and EI. I'm going to grab a Flusterstorm. Just roll up here. Now it's going to be hard for them to win. Faithless Looting just to discard 2 cards. Go for it. Narset mode activated. It's funny because this deck actually could maybe use that effect. But no, that we got the Shame Concede. Okay. Okay, we know that they are on Show and Tell, which is good to know. I'm still not convinced that means I want Pyroblast, though maybe I just do. Maybe I accidentally was on the correct level. In between all these counter spells, I would actually just rather have Teferi. There's a whole 56 cards of their deck that Pyroblast doesn't hit, and I have forces, the flusters, etc. that still fight successfully over Show and Tell. Yeah, I'm not going to risk having this blank in my hand. Here we go. Because they saw me brilliantly hold it up all of last game, they got to think about it before jamming Show and Tells. Okay, I got turn 0 interaction and some cantrips to back it up. My opponent is clearly willing to play a slow discard heavy game. Can't really rely on this, but it's a start. And Solitude's a really funny thing to put in off Show and Tell. I might not even counter a Show and Tell if they turn 1 it. Just land, Lotus Petal, Show and Tell. Resolves. Let's go. Solitude is a little tricky because if they Thoughtseize and take it, they can reanimate it, and it's a creature. Opponent kept 5 cards. Please don't cast Dark Ritual. I don't want to be put to that test. Okay, I'm going to let Thoughtseize happen. Because if I force some negation this, I'm down the force and the ponder, when I can use my draw step plus ponder to try to find a replacement force or a surgical. I have so many hits here. That's not one of them. Come on, deck. Uh-oh. This is not good. If I shuffle, they're going to know I have nothing. But like, I'm not really doing anything anyway. I'm going to take the shuffle and Moto Bug myself right into a Snapcaster Mage. If I were my opponent right now, I would be reading weakness from Ponder Shuffle after that Thoughtseize. If they win this turn and I literally go Island Ponder Scoop for their username, that might be it. I might have to hang up the channel. God, what's happening? Ooh. Getting a turn pass. Oh, baby. Force of Will is in the grip now. Ponder, find me a surgical. Make this easy. Second force. Okay. I do like that. And I think... Oh, I don't have an untapped blue source to cast. That's unfortunate. All right. I was going to say I'm going to put Brainstorm in my hand because I want to cast Brainstorm this game. I'm going to put Narset under Brainstorm, under Force, and draw the Force. This way, even if they duress me, I still have a Force effect available. And I'm drawing Brainstorm that can turn all these lands and Solitudes into cards that can help me. Brainstorm. The Plow is nice. A lot of these cards are nice here. I don't really need Solitude now that I have Plow, and I can tuck this Scalding Tarn on top. Just be loaded up with spells. Maybe I should have just played my land and hold up Hardcast Force Negation plus Pitchcast Force of Will this turn. That's probably a better line. Whoops. Classic BoshNRoll, identifying the correct line seconds after taking a suboptimal one. Learn from my mistakes. Those are the rules. Faithless Looting. Okay. Don't have a good counter for that. Narset is stranded in my hand, unfortunately. Discarded another Looting and a Grizzlebrand. And they're passing the turn. This is good. I get to resolve Narset with a mana up. And that mana can become Swords to Plowshares. Like Narset plus Swords to Plowshares, handle a Grizzlebrand. Don't even need to counter a reanimate spell. Okay, Narset. Ooh, Flusterstorm, Wandering Emperor, Ponder. I'm going to take the Fluster. Let's just put these walls up, all the way up. Okay, they want to discard 2 cards again. Deal. This time we'll know for sure if it's a shame scoop or if this was intentional. Because they did this at the end of last game when they were dead anyway. Yeah, shame scoop. I feel like I've defended my honor here. Island Ponder scoop just got Island Ponder defeated. Hell yeah, defend the brand. On to the next round. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. On the play for round 3, I'm going to keep this hand on the strength of Expressive Iteration. Not quite Island Ponder keep, but 2 lands EI keep. I can live in that world. I also have Pyroblast to interact and Prismatic Ending. There's a reasonable spread of things here. Let's see if we're paired against another combo deck. Ooh, Urza Saga, okay. Expedition map, cool. Alright. I believe I'm going to ending this map off of Plateau. Okay, I said some words about Plateau last game, but right now it is serving the function that it's in the deck for, ostensibly. It is getting the 2 colors of mana I was missing. I'll count that. Have the Ancient Tomb. Fair enough, makes sense. Expressive Iteration time. Let's go. Pay me out. Okay, cool. I'm going to put EI in hand. Alright, I already have... Oh wow, I have so many Expressive Iterations. What's going on right now? Was that my draw for the turn? I didn't even look. I just like slammed it. Okay. I don't think I need a 3rd EI. I'm going to put Force of Will in my hand, EI on the bottom, and exile my land drop for the turn. And I can Ponder here, or I can hold up Pyroblast. I don't think Pyroblast is the spot, though. I'm going to get a Tundra and cast Ponder. The 4th EI. I guess it could be the same one. I just shuffled. We'll never know. What does this game look like? They're going to make 2 constructs that I'm going to have to wade through. Could just jam Mentor and try to muscle through these. If I do that, I'm going to want the extra land. All right. Put this land in my hand. My brain is not fully functional right now. I should have put one of the blue cards in my hand, and I get to just draw the land anyway next turn. That gives me some padding for Force of Will. There's a construct. Okay, not making the 2nd construct. Tutoring up here. That's really interesting. Normally against blue decks, I want to get every drop of value out of my construct. Really curious what the plan is here. Are they going to pivot onto like get some like Mox Opal or something and then like play a Karn or a Mystic Forge? Are they that kind of Saga deck? Are they going to tutor up map, activate map, and go get Cloud Post? Lotus Petal it is. Okay. We're doing something weird. Seething Song resolves. I was not expecting Seething Song to come out of this Urza Saga deck. I'm not going to lie. And Dark Ritual, holy shit. What is this deck? Karn the Great Creator. I feel like I can beat Karn. I just don't know what's following up here. Okay, they're making a wish. Kind of hope they go for Lattice, and then I can force that, turn around, and bury them with Mentor. Coding. Another Saga. They did have the 6 mana and chose not to go for it. Coding's a little annoying, but it's fine. Nether Void, what the shit? Alright, I'm gonna pitch Expressive Iteration, counter this Nether Void. Seems I was right to wait. This is the scariest card. If you've never seen Nether Void before, it's an enchant world, which is whenever a player casts a spell, counter it unless they pay 3. Just mana leak everything forever. Gonna be kind of under the gun here to this liquid metal coating. Don't love that, but Mentor could overpower that if my opponent doesn't get anything else going. But they literally have Karn in play, but they can't do both of those things. Yeah, they can't plus Karn, taking out my lands, and wish for something that answers Mentor. I could also slam Teferi here. Okay. My choices are Mentor or Teferi. I can play Mentor, just hope it holds up. Or I can play Teferi, bounce the construct, and then just slowly lose all my shit. I'm going to get Volcanic Island, which enables the EI. No matter what land they destroy next turn, I'll be able to EI with a Mentor in play. They said in the chat, did I really sequence something wrong that you didn't counter Karn? And I held up the counterspell for Nether Void. Like, Karn was a bait spell. And that's what I'm always telling people on this channel is you really gotta figure out what you can beat and don't spew off your answer on like the first scary thing, because there might be a scarier thing, and like Mentor can just outmuscle Karn. I'm never beating Nether Void. Like, just, you gotta, it was less about like what might they have still and more about like what do I already have covered. All right, I can Pyroblast this turn. That is a thing I'm allowed to do. It's nice they went after my red source to give me the spell off Mentor. Pyroblast targeting Karn. That'll show you. Okay, now Karn can destroy my land, or they can tutor up some answer to Mentor. Okay, we got Wooded Foothills in this deck too. Nothing is sacred. The old Seething Song, Dark Ritual, Wooded Foothills are the Saga strategy. Classic Legacy line. Okay, Teferi is a safe thing to do, but this Urza Saga, like if I play Teferi, bounce Construct token, I get to draw a card, guaranteed, clear this Construct guaranteed. They can make another Construct, but that trades with Monk or just chump blocks. But EI could be 2 spells or a spell on a land. All right, I'm going to EI. I'd love to see land and Prismatic Ending off of this Expressive Iteration. If I can get rid of this liquid metal coating, that would be great. Moment of truth. Hey, all the things that I wanted. Prismatic Ending in my hand, Flusterstorm on the bottom, exile Flooded Strand, play Flooded Strand. I'm gonna fetch for another. I want another Tundra. Is red mana important in the main deck? It's just Expressive Iteration, which, I mean, is a pretty important card. I could also Mystic Sanctuary, putting EI on top. That's probably the play. Mystic Sanctuary, pick up Expressive Iteration. Keep the spells coming. Then Prismatic Ending, hitting, coding, shrinks the constructs, gives me a big attack on Karn. Blue-white. They can wish for coding again, because Karn can also get cards from exile, not just your sideboard, but that's the Karn activation for the turn, and they get the like pseudo Rishadan port, but they don't get the land destruction. Then I'm coming at Karn with all of these monks. That Mentor is so awesome. Card is just gorgeous. Incredible. They could put both constructs in front of Mentor, get a double block, and Karn goes to 1. But I lose Mentor, and they have not a whole lot going on over there. But they do know I have EI on top of the deck. So that's a line they might want to consider. They could just chump and protect Karn. Oh, just letting Karn die. That's also a line they have. Just going for bigger constructs. Are we pivoting on to Soul Guide? Not Soul Guide Lantern. What is that card called? Shadow Spear. Shadow Spear? Or are there more secrets in this deck that I just haven't seen yet? More preposterous nonsense that I can't even comprehend. Like, are they going to tutor up LED and then cast Echo of Eons this turn? That could happen. It is Shadow Spear time. Okay. We have the land to pump these. Lotus Petal would work. 1 card left in hand. All right, the race is on. 5, 9. This is 9 damage. I'm going to chump the 4. I believe I'm winning the long game as long as I don't get reckless with my life total. Now the real big game are ours. If I hit any untapped land off of Expressive Iteration, I get EI plus Teferi this turn, or I could just Teferi and be super safe. No, I'm not a coward. Let's go. This deck plays a lot of lands. Pay me out. Never. Oh my god. Oh no. Punished. Punish, punish, punish. Such a dick. Okay. Force of Will in my hand. Mentor on the bottom. Exile, Force of Negation. I believe that is a variance situation and not a I played bad situation, but you could make the argument. Okay, glad I chumped last turn, or else this turn would be really dicey. Taking the 5 again. Okay. Narset, I'm just going to get the Teferi in here. Teferi gets more monks. Then Teferi, I'm going to bounce the big construct. Make them re-equip Shadow Spear. Swords of Plowshares is a good one for next turn. But if I bounce Shadow Spear, I could have forced it. They just equip Shadow Spear here. I have to chump and lose all my shit. Oh my god. Missing on that EI was disastrous. Please cast a spell. Give me Force of Will. Give me some prowess triggers. They might have to think about Brainstorm, because like one prowess trigger completely nukes combat. Just cast a spell, please. Free combat. Cast something. Shit. Yep. I have to block with everything just to not be dead. Block with everything to go to 2 here. Wow, that sucks. Expressive Iteration is garbage. Cut it from your decks. Alright, deck. What's the line here? Plus Teferi. If I fetch, I go to 1. And then I can play Wandering Emperor, which can exile the big construct, but then I go to 3 and die to the other construct. Guess I have to Narset and Spike here. I have to hit a white removal spell. Come on. Brainstorm, Ponder. Jeez. I'm going to lose for Xaxes because I missed on that 3-card look. Yep. Exactly dead. Solitude is in my deck. Guess I take Brainstorm and try to spike Solitude right here. That's the last out. Solitude. Oh, we're dead. Wow. What a nightmare. To be fair, they did cast Karn, Liquid Metal Coating, and Nether Void on turn 3. And this game still came down to just awkward mana. Disappointing. Alright. Engineered Explosives get in. Meltdown get in. Flusterstorm is not good. Pyroblast is not good. Plow seems fine. Blood Moon seems great. They're a Saga deck. Just keep that out of the mix. I don't think the rest of these cards are good. And what are the cuts? Force Negation seems pretty essential. Mentor's the only reason I was in that game at all. I'm going to shave on Plow a little bit. Now that I have Meltdowns to keep up with the Saga. A little less important. Okay, let's try it. I'm going to mulligan this No-Lander. I'm going to keep this one. And I'm going to put Mountain on the bottom. I have to give a small amount of consideration to the fact that Blood Moon's in my deck, but otherwise, just going to make sure I can cast my spells. A Mountain. I've heard those are good against Blood Moons. I play my Volk. Opponent's got the Saga. Expedition map, you got it. Okay, iteration time. This could be Pyroblast they're holding up. Wow. Tough beats, man. These EIs have been bad. I'm going to put Narset in my hand, Mentor on the bottom, Exile Force. Decks with high curves like this really count on EI to produce lands and not spells. So we got kind of pinched on just hitting 3 spells and not being able to get 2 cards off EI for 2 games now. Chromox, alright. I do have double forest, double blue card. Chromox pitching Dark Ritual, investing in the future. Wandering Emperor. I'm gonna Brainstorm. Still no lands, my god. Okay, put back Narset and one of these EIs, I guess. I'm gonna use Ponder to try to come up with the land drop. Shuffle this. And missing land drop. Cool. I'm going to plow the construct in the end step. Oh, they're not even making constructs. That's not the plan. Fascinating. Grabbing Ancient Tomb. All right, we're going big. Nether Void, Karn. What's the line? No construct in the main phase either. Search up a Lotus Petal. So this is 4, 5, 6, 7 mana that I can see. There's 7 mana in play. Well, fuck me. Can't counter that one. The race is on. And because this Chandra is also a Wrath effect, SOL, I think. Brainstorm in hand, explosives on the bottom, exile the land. Is there like literally anything I can do against this Chandra? Exile my own creatures, maybe? And now take 2 in every upkeep. Chronosphere. Can't really beat that card. I'm gonna pitch a Brainstorm to it. Do I want... I think I have to jam Snapcaster Mage into play here. Just ambush Viper and start attacking. Solitude's interesting. I'm going to attack my opponent, because Chandra's ability is a +2. I'm not gonna get through this by attacking it. I have to go face. Hopefully they -1 Chandra and I can blow out with the Wandering Emperor. Nope, still just plushing Chandra. Fearlessly. The race is on. And I'm taking way more damage than they are every turn. End of turn. Wandering Emperor. Creature. I take 3. Scalding Tarn. Okay, a lifelink creature can actually race Chandra emblems in a way that's interesting. It's also an elemental. That's good. Okay. I'm going to plus on my Samurai and attack my opponent. All right, put you to 10. Never give up, never surrender. 3 damage to each non-elemental creature. Okay, check this out. I'm going to Solitude my own creature. I can get Mystic Sanctuary here. Do I want that? Grabbing Force of Will. I don't think that's actually good. Maybe it is, because I can hardcast it next turn. Alright, yeah, Mystic Sanctuary. Picking up Force of Will. Yes, do that. And then Solitude. Exile up to 1 target creature. I get to gain 3 life off my Samurai that's going to die anyway. Chandra kills Snapcaster Mage. I have Force of Will for something, then Force of Will that I can hardcast on top of my deck. Spirit Guide's annoying, but I can plow it if I need to. Chandra can -3 on Solitude next turn. I guess Force can pitch Force now, so I could plow the Simian Spirit Guide and get in with Solitude a bit. I'm going to Expressive Iteration, actually, now that I didn't need to Force last turn. Okay, Ponder in my hand. Narset on the bottom. Exile the land. Take my land per turn. Guess Ponder. Prismatic Ending. Are you good? Not really. Okay, shuffle this. If I plow Spirit Guide, I attack Chandra for 4. Still at 5. Yeah, that's no good. I have to keep going face. And yeah, I think this is falling apart here. I'm going to make a Samurai because they're going to have to target Solitude to exile it, or to kill it with Chandra. The sweeper effect won't hit the Samurai. I'm just going to bleed out to this Chandra, though. I think we had some cool play here, but it's going to be a little short. Another Spirit Guide. Sure. Just can't use my Force of Will on that when we've seen multiple game-ending spells in there. Chandra deals X damage, target creature or planeswalker. Okay. Taking out my Wandering Emperor. That's interesting. But, I mean, viable. Sure. I take 3 here. These forces are bad now. Their time came and went. And now my life is pain. Does it matter how I attack? I don't think so. Just attacking my opponent. If I knew I was drawing a 3rd force, forcing this Spirit Guide might have done something, but obviously I couldn't have known that. Chandra deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker. Yeah, I guess that does save 1 loyalty. Makes sense. Mentor doesn't have flash. Yeah, it's going to be tough to get Mentor through a Chandra turn. I would have to like EI into Mentor and Brainstorm, and then Brainstorm and do other stuff all on their turn. Yeah, we're just dead now. We made a run out of it. Now I have 4 emblems. I was so excited to find that Solitude and find that line. I was going to put Solitude out of reasonable range with the Wandering Emperor and then that Spirit Guide. Okay, another land, that's too many. Chandra is always a powerful pivot out of these big mana decks against the blue control decks, and they know that too. Not even Mentor can keep up with the Wrath effect. That's pretty cool, but no love. On the play for round 4, Island Ponder. Snap it off. My opponent shouted out the YouTube comment section. Make sure to shout back out to Mana Drain with a 1 instead of an I. Ponder time. These cards are good. And I like that they're here. I would have preferred to find a land there, but the way this is curving out, the expressive iteration will be online to look at my next 3 cards right after I clear the Ponder cards. Unless they're a Wasteland deck, in which case I am in trouble. Blooded Strand. Can neither confirm nor deny it's a Wasteland deck. I can Brainstorm still. I'm not just ice cold to a Wasteland. Prefer it not happen. A fetch from the opponent. Basic Island. And a Brainstorm. We're in some sort of genuine blue mirror. Uh-oh, another Basic Island. It's getting weird. Brainstorm, Basic Island, go. No shuffle. This like High Tide or some tremendously terrible thing. Aggressive iteration. Let's see if it betrays me again. Or it just gets spell pierced. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not going to spend a force on this. I'm going to miss a land drop as a result. I got another one rolled up. Let's go. If this is mono blue Delver and then they wasteland me and play Ledger Shredder, I'm done. My goose is cooked. Ah, but they're also missing land drops over there. And I've stopped missing land drops. Let's switch over to Narset. How about that? Force pitching your own Narset. I will fight this back with a Brainstorm. Narset's worth a card. If your opponent goes island to island, Narset's going to be good. So is Pyroblast. Okay, let's see how this shakes out. They pitched a Narset to their force. So we're also against some sort of blue Narset strategy. But I'm starting to push ahead here. My Narset's in. They've seen the Pyroblast. It's face up. Activate Narset. Wandering Emperor and Brainstorm. I'll take the Brainstorm. I can Emperor later down the road, but having the blue card back up with Force of Will. Jesus, again? Again? This could be a function of the mana just being bad. Like if Plains was Island, then this works, but since it's not, it doesn't. Okay. This is happening often enough that I'm starting to wonder if it is bad variance or bad deck construction. Like, do the spells not line up with the mana correctly to support expressive iteration the right way? Or what's going on here? Because this is abnormal at this point. I'm going again because I haven't learned anything. We need to test it for science. Okay, Teferi in my hand. Island on the bottom, exile Tundra. They still haven't hit a land drop, which means there's 7 spells in hand. Whatever this mono blue deck is, I hope Narset is just hard locking them. This discard step will give us a little more information about their deck. Okay, it appears that they are just conceding. Reasonable place to take that. Okay, I saw 2 basic islands and exclusively blue spells, so I'm going to load up all these Pyroblasts. Probably a safe bet. Narset is in the deck. Suspect Swords to Plowshares is not going to find many targets here, and if anything that Plow could target is probably also blue. Now I have to decide how deep I want to go on, like, are they a Jeskai mirror who just got mana screwed and I'm going to want my Hydroblast for their Pyroblasts, or are they actually High Tide or some mono blue thing of some kind where I want my Flusterstorm? We've seen Narset, but 5 Red Blasts are pretty good. I'm going to cut the prismatic ending for Flusterstorm. This is just my best eyeball. I'm confident about the Red Blast, but the Flusterstorm, I'm not so sure. We'll see. We did see Force Will out of their deck, and Fluster is good at punching through my Planeswalker versus their counter magic. Okay, a 1-lander with no card selection, but it does have Force Blue card, Pyroblast, Flusterstorm against whatever this is. Do I want to try my luck on this? Okay, against my better judgment, I'm going to keep this for science. Prismatic Vista. This is where they reveal they were Jeskai control all along. Okay, another Pyroblast. I will Pyroblast any blue spell at this point, just so I don't have to go to discard next turn. All right, show me a Brainstorm. I'll just target whatever. Yes, including that. Maybe I'll Fluster it instead. No, I'm rolled up on Pyroblast here. Use Red Elemental Blast on that thing. Uh-oh. A red land. Land please, land please, land please. Uh-oh. My secrets are out. My opponent knows I'm just over here on Fistful of Removal. I would never in a million years keep this hand if I was confident my opponent was doing something other than just some sort of pure combo situation. Like if I knew they were like Jeskai control or like Is It Delver, I would never in my life keep this hand. This basic mountain, it puts them off High Tide for sure. Just gonna try to cut the legs out from under them too. Oh no. Oh no! Okay, they also missed their land drop. They're doing slightly better than me, but they are holding up Pyroblast. Oh, stop it. Alright, I can't fight over this one with my Pyroblast. I need it for Narset or Teferi, something really essential. Okay, they're just Jeskai control. Great. This is a really bad hand in a control mirror. Fuck. I'm gonna discard Prismatic Ending. I cannot cast it with the mana that I have. It's a purely reactive card. I think if I'm going to contend in this game at this point, it's going to have to involve Mentor with just like double force backup and going coast to coast. Ooh, they're spending a force on this. Force pitching Snapcaster. I'm going to force pitching my Teferi. I think Narset is the most important card in my hand. Oh, we're forcing back? Narset. Okay, full idiot mode. Opponent has 1 card in hand, but 3 mana to cast spells with. I have 2 cards in hand and no mana to cast spells with. Here we are. This is the life we live. Land. Okay, what's your last card in hand? If it's like anything, I'm probably ready to concede. Nothing. Oh, I found a land. I found a land. We're getting there. These lands cast Expressive Iteration. Oh no, they found the first cantrip after the bullshit. Not shuffle, that's dangerous. Alright, Expressive Iteration off the top, or white land, or all 3 of the red sources my deck plays. Alright, what do you got? We just slamming Jace. Slamming Narset. That's almost as bad as Jace. This is when I draw the Brainstorm that I've been waiting for the whole game. White mana's good here, like ending Narset is strong. Wandering Emperor, not a fan of that one. Come on, deck. Alright. They're holding up Pyroblast. Or some negation pitching Force of Will. Okay, at least it wasn't Pyroblast, but that still is really bad. Look at him to Turok at least. These Planeswalkers are going to bury me pretty quickly, but I mean, Mentor slaps though. If they're just on board with Planeswalkers and not doing much else, Mentor does stuff. That's the whole thing that we do here. Days Undoing, come on. Oh, my hand's already bad. Not even mad about that. They get 7 fresh cards, but I get 1 fresh card. Yeah, I'll take it. Found the white source. What are you going to do? Force of Will. Perfect. I draw 7 is a pretty good effect. And Mind Rot. Draw 7 and Mind Rot. Ponder. Okay. Ponder did not shuffle. Just pass the turn with 7 cards in hand. I don't like it. All right, I can Force of Will now. I would really like to concede this game and start game 3, but I'm just not quite dead. Expressive Iteration dodges Narset. They slam Wandering Emperor in the end step. I can force it. Okay, 1 card in hand. Show him who's boss. If they force my force, I'll concede. Okay, fair enough. All right. This game brought to you by incomplete information leading to terrible decisions. I would have mulliganed that hand 10 times out of 10 if I knew this was just a Jeskai mirror. All right, what changes now? Prismatic Ending is good at tangling with Planeswalkers. I know they're a Days Undoing build now. Force Negation, Force of Will are also good at tangling with stuff, though. Yeah, I don't think anything actually changes other than my mulligan decision. I could cut a Force for... Nah, I don't like Prismatic Ending that much. And Force in the Mentor deck has a lot of different connotations. I could bring in Hydroblast. I don't think they're going to, like, Blood Moon me. Yeah, fuck Hydroblast. Let's go. Oh, baby. Island Ponder Keep put me to the test. Expressive Iteration makes this hand better than it looks. I'm going to live by my own creed here. Last game, the difference of the one-lander is the Ponder. Last game, it was a genuine one land, nothing else to say about it situation. Found the land right away. I'm going to put Brainstorm in my hand. I don't expect needing to double force on turn 1, but I have the option now. The Prismatic Vista on top is nice because being able to Pyroblast with it also untaps and lets me Expressive Iterate. Did not shuffle with Ponder. Okay, I'm going to pass. My top card is Teferi. I can decide if I'm interested in that or not. I'm probably going to Brainstorm in the end step, depending on what they do here. Yeah, you can Brainstorm. Knowing that they're a Jeskai control deck and not some combo deck, firing off the Pyroblasts like I did last game is just fundamentally unsound. They're going to have Narsets, there's going to be Teferis, there's going to be maybe Jace. There's going to be Counter Wars where I'm fighting over Force of Will. There's going to be spots. Step Brainstorm. Yuck. Okay. I don't need 2 Mentors, and I don't need this Wandering Emperor for like a very long time. Get this basic mountain. And then I'm going to get Tundra. Or is it Plateau? It might actually be Plateau. That's weird, but I think it's right. I'm going to get Plateau and go for Mentor with double force backup. And just try to power cheese. Just trying to power cheese against 7 cards in hand. No big deal. If they force the front of Mentor, this changes. I'm actually just going to let this happen. I'm going to take my 2 for 1 and set up a longer game. Because if Mentor resolves and then they like Swords to Plowshares, I force, and I'm gaining value off my forces as we go, that's a totally different thing than like they force, I force, you Pyroblast, I force, and now my hand is empty and I have a 2/2. Shuffling their Brainstorm cards after the fact. That forced pitch to force. Would strongly prefer to Pyroblast whatever's about to happen, but I'm probably going to force it. Yep, now or never on that one. Don't even mind getting forced back that much. Oh, they brought in Hydroblast. And I did not. Interesting. Please plus Teferi. Please plus Teferi. Makes no sense at all to plus Teferi here. I'm just saying. That's what I want them to do, because it doesn't make any sense. Alright, yep. Drew the card. You might as well cash in on Teferi. The removal in these decks is not damage based. Expressive Iteration. Oh wait, drawing the land lets me Pyroblast and stick my own Teferi. Kind of like that. And I'm going to draw a card as well. Snapcaster, that's a good one. Let's get scrappy. Please don't have Jace. But I guess I can snap Pyroblast to Jace next turn. They would need to remove Teferi and resolve Jace somehow to be able to protect it. That's not Wandering Emperor mana. They're surgical extracting my Mentors. That's rough. Now I have to win with Snapcaster Mage and Wandering Emperor. I mean, sure. That is currently, like, the way that I've constructed this game or chosen to play this game, that is a 0 for 1. It will have long-term ramifications. There's no eject button anymore. I got to win this game 2 points at a time. But in this low resource situation where I have a Planeswalker and they don't, they just put a card from their hand in the graveyard and did not remove a card from my hand or battlefield. Narset's pretty good. Digging for Pyroblast, I guess, leaving up the red as they did instead of the white. It makes sense. Pyroblast is the thing that can remove Teferi cleanly right now. Days Undoing, huh? Alright, that's a card you could hit. Mystic Sanctuary is a land. Last I checked. It's an ETB tapped land. Pretty sure I just want to blast this Narset. I don't really want to let them activate Narset again. They've seen the Snapcaster. Yeah, I'm just going to Red Blast Narset right now. If Narset was at 1 loyalty, I would have waited on that, make them make the first move. They might just jam Days Undoing here anyway, try to reset the situation, fix their shitty hand. But I get the first crack at the 7 cards. Ooh, your own Teferi. Okay. You want to bounce my Snapcaster? It's a really shitty situation for them because bouncing Snapcaster gives me Snapcaster, obviously, which has a powerful enters the battlefield effect. But if they bounce nothing, then Teferi's in danger. Like if they plus Teferi, I can attack Teferi down to 3. All right, looks like they just took a YOLO swing for Pyroblast and missed. Oh wow, Narset's messed up here. Okay, plus Teferi. Attack your Teferi. Get that out of the way. And then I'm going to stick Narset, knowing that they have Days Undoing in their hand. Unfortunately, I only have 2 blue mana, and I'm not going to trust Expressive Iteration to find the 3rd. I'll just sequence this in the way that I'm sure I get Narset. Wow. Well, EI would have hit. Look at me. EI would have hit, and Narset didn't in a cruel twist of fate. So now they have to Pyroblast Narset and then cast Days Undoing just to give both of us 7 new cards when I only have 1 card in hand anyway. Not a pretty scene here. If they have Mentor, this game could get really interesting. And by interesting, I mean awful. Cycling Timeless Dragon. Yeah, that's a good one. Teferi lines up well against it. Prismatic Ending lines up well against it. They cast Days Undoing, it's gone. All right, they're doing something here. Hull Breacher. Okay. I can remove that creature from play in a variety of ways. In my deck. I have Teferi in play. That's a good one. Activate Narset. Wandering Emperor. Love that for me. Yeah, I'm going to get this Wandering Emperor. Then plus Teferi. And I'm just going to chill. I have Teferi and Narset in play. Snapcaster Mage can block Hull Breacher. I can kill Hull Breacher at instant speed if I need to. They only have 3 cards in hand, and we know one of them stays Undoing that they can't cast because I have Narset. Okay, bringing back the Timeless Dragon. Makes sense. Good stuff. Teferi will just bounce that token for free. Okay, it's Emperor time. Make an Emperor. Make a token. I'm just going to blast Hull Breacher in the end step because I'm going to use Teferi to pick up Snapcaster, or to pick up Timeless Dragon, and I want to be able to draw a card. Is EI still chilling? Replacement Narset. Life is good. Bounce the Dragon token. Finally deploy this Expressive Iteration I've been sitting on for the whole game. Great. And still somehow miss on it. Put Reb in my hand. Exile, or put Force of Negation on the bottom. No, I'll put Reb on the bottom. Exile, Force of Negation. With Teferi, it just doesn't matter. Make a Samurai. Attack my creatures. I'm going to drop a fresh Narset here. Start to reload. Get my cards. Find Force of Will. Solitude just went to the bottom with a couple of lands. Yeah, I can Red Blast Narset. I can Red Blast Days Undoing. I don't care about Days Undoing. I actually welcome Days Undoing. I get 7 fresh cards to the 0. Pretty bad situation. Looks like Prismatic Ending, the way the mana is leaving the pool. Makes sense. Okay, Days Undoing is a castable card now. Still not great, but it's a thing you can do. I'm not going to rev this Brainstorm, not when I know they have this pseudo combo win in their deck and half of it's in their hand. Brainstorm, then Ponder. Ponder will probably shuffle away the Brainstorm cards. Yeah, they're only seeing 1 new card here. They did not shuffle. Okay. Found a land which can shuffle. That makes sense. Mystic Sanctuary can come in off this Tarn. But I have 6 lands, which is enough to hardcast Force of Will and play this Red Blast. I have 2 counter spells versus their 3 cards in hand, and they are dead next turn. We're on a 1-turn clock, facing down 2 counter spells. And Teferi. It's not looking good for them. They cast Days Undoing, they just lose, even if they do have Narset, because the board is way out of reach. There's not even a spell in the graveyard I care about. If they were to Mystic Sanctuary, they'd probably get Ponder, just as some amount of selection. Sanctuary it is. Picking up Prismatic Ending. Can't imagine why that matters. Like, all three of my creatures are lethal. I have Teferi in play. What are they doing with this 1 blue mana? Didn't think so. Looks like they have a Brainstorm in their hand. I can't imagine a world where Prismatic Ending was the card that's going to save them. Sure. Remove 1 of my 3 lethal threats. 2 cards in hand versus my 2 counterspells in hand. Right, they have 1 card in their hand. I'm going to Red Blast this Brainstorm, and I have Force of Will for whatever that last card is. Their mana does not cast Supreme Verdict, and if they had Supreme Verdict, they would not have just spent their draw step getting Prismatic Ending. We got the GGs in the chat. And there it is. We are 2-2 headed into the final round playing for a positive record. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. I'm on the draw in the final round, playing for the positive record against a Yorion strategy. Perfect time to have Pyroblast in my hand, but I do have 2 plows, so I'm going to keep. Could be Cephalid Breakfast or some random blue control deck. Oh, baby. Thinking Aloran? Or just some brew. Those are the possibilities. Some fucking thing. Always plow the bird. That's what they say, right? This hand is pretty good at wasting time until I can stick it to Teferi. Let's hope that actually matters. Uh-oh. Got something else to do with 1 mana. Oh, they are a blue deck. That's good news for this Pyroblast. Did not shuffle the Bonder. Mentor, what's up, buddy? I did not plow the bird. I feel like we're kind of over the hump here, and I'm a little worried about what might still come out of this thing. I'm going to Pyroblast this Brainstorm. I'm not sure how many targets I'm going to get for this. I'm just taking the one that I have. If they are a Aloran, probably wish I had saved it for a Cavern Harpy or something. They have another Brainstorm here. If they play a creature, Teferi plus Plow can answer 2 things. Just gonna go for Teferi, try to bounce this bird. Please don't daze me. Okay, Teferi's in there. We're gonna delete this bird. On another Plow, that's good. If there's a Dryad Arbor in this deck, which I'm getting Zenith vibes, it wouldn't surprise me if they fetch Dryad Arbor here and then attack Teferi. Okay, no Dryad Arbor. That's good news. Unless they just cast Aloran and I die. That's bad news. Okay, no Aloran this turn. Brainstorm's cool. And then I can Mentor next turn with Plow or Flusterstorm. Backing it up. There's that bird. I'm getting another turn with Teferi. Plus that. And I'm going to gem the Mentor. And now I have Brainstorm in the pool of things I can do too. I can Plow the bird, hold up Flusterstorm, Brainstorm, or Plow. I'm not going to Plow the bird. They already have 4 lands. In Legacy, that's a million. Now I'm going to start to try to fight over payoffs. There's a lot of Aloran lines that don't work so well with Teferi in play. That's a good Swords to Plowshares. Flusterstorm doesn't stop it. I'm going to Brainstorm. Brainstorm could find Force, or at the very least it will leave a Monk behind. Okay, that's a lot of lands. And a lot of plows. Let's see if I've lost now. Damn it. I fell for the trap. Now I'm going to lose a game that Swords to Plowshares would have won. Yep, they could Arctic Merfolk and I can't win. I'm dead. Okay, I deserve this. I'm out. Yeah, if I just let the plow happen, hold up Swords to Plowshares, I don't lose this turn. Disappointing. Okay. We've got Kozilek's Return seems reasonable. The Surgicals can mess up an Uro. I imagine this is an Uro deck. The payoff's green, but they do have blue spells. Payoff being a green spell makes me want my Force of Negations in. Arset's good. Plow's good. All my cards are good. What am I going to make room for these Kozilek's Returns with? Probably looking at Prismatic Ending, which obviously I know it's a creature deck we're playing against and there's a fair plan, but the creatures, Kozilek Return is also for creatures. We saw basic lands and Birds of Paradise, so I'm not interested in Blood Moon. I'm not interested in going any deeper on Pyroblast either. Yeah, this is the strat. Let's go for it. On the play, Island Ponder Keep, right? Let's do it. Don't expect Wasteland out of this deck, but could be wrong. We'll find out soon. Okay, these lands bridge me into Expressive Iteration. I'm gonna put this extra force in my hand. Bird of Paradise, you got it. I'm just gonna land go here. I don't need to brainstorm right now. I know I'm drawing a land next turn. I could just slam Mentor with double force back up. I could get Narset rolling. I got options starting next turn. Good iteration trying to spike a Swords to Plowshares. And have that Ponder. Ponder did not shuffle. And we got a Prismatic Vista. I think I want Narset on this stable board. Obviously Mentor backed by double force is pretty exciting, but Narset's really good too. Ice Fang, Coatl. Sure. That makes Narset a little worse. I'm still going to cash her. Got Kozilek's Return, Pyroblast, and Ponder. I think I want the return. Yeah, I'll take that. Sucks that it's face up, but still a 2-for-1. Land number 4. Is it Alluring Time? If it's Alluring Time, they have to get through 2 forces, and then they have to win without drawing any cards. It's probably not what time it is. Comes the point on Narset. No Death Touch. Not that that matters against Planeswalkers, but scoreboard. Zenith for 3. That's going to be something that's bigger than Kozilek's Return, of course. I'm going to Force of Negation, pitching Brainstorm. EI is more powerful than Brainstorm. Prioritize correctly. Narset can take another poke, so I think I want to EI this turn. Let's see if I miss one more land on the way out here. Okay. Plow in my hand. Kozilek's Return on the bottom. Exile Scalding Tarn. Now I have Plow backing up everything else that's going on. Narset being on 1 versus 2 barely matters. I'm going to save this Plow. See if something bigger comes through. Or something more targetable. Like Narset's on stop card draw mode right now, not on dig for cards mode. We got some action from the Misty Rainforest. We got a 5-drop coming. Are we Zenithing again? Very Time Raveler. That can bounce Ice Fang Coatl for some reasonable value. I think I'm just going to plow Coatl. Or do I want to actually force this to Fairy? I'm out of good answers to anything. And they can't draw an extra card this turn anyway. That's tricky. I guess the scary thing is next turn they can Alluring combo with impunity. If I don't counter. Sucks. I boarded out my prismatic, 2 of my prismatic endings, and there's 1 Pyroblast in my deck. I don't think I can just square up with this creature and win. Or this permanent and win. Oh, that's so close to being something relevant. I'm going to slam the return right now. Main phase it. Let's clear these things out. I can still plow next turn. If they slam Alluring, there are lines that beat me. The Uro lines don't work because they can't draw extra cards. Recruiter is strong. Mentor is stronger. Picking up Ice Fang Coatl. Just trying to play fair here. Pressure the Narset. Come on, blue card. Cool. Alright. Mentor, get in. Now I have 2 spells to cast, and one of them's a counterspell. A real hero would have fetched and pondered there, but the way this league has gone, I'm not taking any chances. I guess Fetch Ponder doesn't even make sense, because you would want to hit a land drop or have a blue card, and you don't get both. Okay. There's a land. I could fetch for Mystic Sanctuary, pick up Force of Negation. That makes sense. Does that work? I think I'm just going to ponder normally. See what comes out of this before I make any additional decisions. Solitude is hot. You know, all these cards are good. A bounty of riches, as they say. I'm going to put Ponder in my hand. Play my land for the turn. I'm going to Ponder again. Trying to push for damage here. Get this game over. Oh, cool. Double Narset makes that pretty easy. I'm going to put Solitude, Narset, Narset. So now I can pitch a Narset to force and still draw Narset next turn. And if something horrible were to happen to me, this creature does not have Death Touch. If something horrible happens, I have Mystic Sanctuary that can pick up EI. You're going to slam another Coatl and give it Death Touch. Coatl is a snow permanent, but you're at 18. You don't need to mess around with all that. Cool. I'm going to wait till their turn, see what they do. I'm probably going to plow this Coatl to make sure my Narset sticks around. Ooh, Abundant Growth before attacks. No card draw, sorry. Yeah, if they just wait till second main to do that, it is much more reliable. I wonder if I'm even supposed to plow this now. Their hand's been pretty bad for a while. I am just going to shoot off the plow. They haven't done a lot lately, and I'm going to give Narset some credit for that. Wrist to the Hunger Tide. I'm going to let that happen. Hopefully they kill Narset. If they kill Mentor, it's fine. I have a bunch of creatures already. But if they kill Narset, I'm literally just holding one. Nice. There's a Brainstorm. Yeah, Narset was locking some stuff down for a while. Drawing the second Narset, I will summon her to the massive eye roll from my opponent, I'm sure. Do you have a force? Do you want a force? Okay, I know my top card is Solitude. I could fetch a land and another land. Yeah, I think I want to EI this turn. So if I fetch Tundra and Mystic Sanctuary... Oh shit, that doesn't cast Expressive Iteration. Damn it. I needed Volcanic Island. It's all good. We'll make it work. I'm going to put... Could be Force of Negation, or I could put Ponder on top. I'm going to put Ponder on top, push for Velocity. I might be able to win the game right now. Activate Narset. Ooh, put the Ponder in my hand and 3 lands to go with it. Ponder. Mentor is getting larger. Currently attacking for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. If I force my Ponder, it's lethal. Is that the kind of Trixie I want to be? They would have to have, like, Solitude to stop that from happening. Alright. Let's go for lethal. Opponent's a combo deck. Don't give them the opportunity. Finally, Mentor flexed on someone in game 2 of round 5. That was a proper Mentor game. Now that I've seen Teferi, I'm going to bring in more Pyroblasts. Prismatic Ending can bounce, I think, and Lusterstorm doesn't seem great here. Pyroblast probably hits most of the things that are important to me. Most of their things are creatures or cheap spells, and even their cheap spells are blue. And their Aloran line, if they're the white version, so it requires Arctic Merfolk. And Cavern Harpy is blue as well, so there's a lot of blue things. I just didn't think about it enough before sideboarding for that game. I'm actually going to shave up Force as well, because with the 5 forces in my deck, I run out of cards to pitch pretty quick, and just having another 1-for-1 answer is pretty great. This hand contains Brainstorm and Kozilek's Return. I'm in. Even Solitude if there's an emergency. Ponder. I'm glad that wasn't Birds of Paradise. I wasn't ready for that. I would not pitch Mentor to Solitude to remove a Birds of Paradise, by the way. Okay, I'm going to jam this island and pass. Okay, this looks like Ice Fang Coatl that they're holding up right now. I'm going to play my land and then Brainstorm. We haven't seen a Daze, but we can play around it. Yep, Coatl in response. You got it. Turn some of these basic lands into cash. Get rid of them. And I don't know what's in your deck. I'm going to fetch now. Things can get weird in these like toolbox creature decks. Recruiter of the Guard can get opposition agent, so like who the hell knows. I'm just gonna make sure my mana works. Maybe I should have fetched red there and make them think twice about slamming Teferi. Brainstorm's cool. No attack. Fascinating. Is there a haste creature in my deck I don't know about? Alright. Narset, let's go. Get in there. Shut some stuff down. Fetching in response. Are we gonna see another Brainstorm here? Is gonna see a Coatl? A Coatl, you got it. They don't have to do it first if they want to draw the card, because they still get a card this turn, but doing it gives them a draw to spike something like Force of Will and fight over this thing instead. I kind of want both Teferi and Reb. I have to decide which one I'm into most. I think it's the Red Blast. I only have 1 red, which means I can't Kozilek's Return with Red Blast protection. Unfortunate. 4 mana. We're in a Lauren zone. Narset is safely in play after this Coatl attack. She goes to 1. It's just a land go. Okay, I can Ponder and still Kozilek's Return, but Ponder's also my blue card for Force, so I'm just gonna chill. Another one. Now they have Death Touch. Good stuff. Got a 4th one for me? Slam it in. Now they're holding up Force of Will on the hard cast. That kind of... Wow, no respect. Just sending 1 Coatl at the Narset and 2 at me. Wish I had a Swords of Plowshares to punish. Getting Volcanic Island. I could also just let Narset die and Kozilek's Return big time next turn. But I think I like this return too much. Ooh, that just happened. Not expecting that to just resolve like that. Recruiter of the Guard. Okay. We're getting the 4th Coatl. What's the plan? There it is. I think it's Mentor time. I'm just going to fetch a Tundra here. No, I have all my Tundras. Is it another Volk? It's not Plateau. Yeah, I'm just going to get another Volcanic Island. And I'm going to Mentor and then Ponder and hold up Red Blast and these 2 forces. Coatl in response, sure. I could counter the Coatl and stop the card draw, but I'd rather get a Monk out of this exchange. Ponder. Starting to go big. Find a white card. Oh, nice. Teferi is both a white card and a blue card for Force or Solitude. Not shuffling my library here. And now I have a choice. I can let Narset die, maybe unlock some stuff in their hand. I could just Red Blast the Coatl. I think I'm in like full Protect Mentor mode here. Yeah, I'm going to let Narset go. I'm going to let Mentor play this game. Knowing that they could have a combo kill and they have 7 cards in their hand. Not really interested in engaging in that fight. Looks like Prismatic Ending. I'm going to Force of Will pitching Teferi. Is that what I'm going to do here? I'll also just let Mentor go, move into some sort of like Solitude kind of plan. I'm going to Force of Will pitching Teferi. Then I'm still holding up Force of Negation next turn. Because I'm not drawing a blue card, I'm drawing a land. On my next 2 turns, actually. Please don't have Veil of Summer. Okay, the ending was countered. And another Abundant Growth, you got it. And next turn, I'm holding up Hardcast Solitude plus Reb, or Force of Negation plus Reb. Both of which are pretty strong. I'm going to attack. I'll offer the trade with a Monk. Getting Recruiter out of play is 1 less moving piece for Alurin. That was a free thing anyway. Brainstorm. I'm going to hit that with a Red Blast. Hanging out over here with Force of Negation makes me feel pretty good about Alurin anyway. And they haven't done a lot. I mean, I know they just got out from under Narset last turn and drew a bunch of cards, but I don't want them making any big changes to the game plan right now. Alright, don't Veil of Summer me. Okay, Force pitching Ukima. Alright. Well, what are these last 2 cards in hand? Moment of Truth. Yeah, that Brainstorm may have tricked me. Oh, fuck. Alright, I fell for it twice. I got too cute. If I just wait, both Game 1 and Game 3 were winnable, but instead I lose. Arctic Merfolk picks up Recruiter, Cavern Harpy. Life points are currently a resource, and Ukima got pitched to the Force. So I'm going to make them show me this. Because it's going to cost 1 life for every card you draw. Like, it's possible to miss. Gotta play my out here. I'm not just being salty. Fell for the Brainstorm. What a dingus. I'll concede as soon as I see like Uro or something that actually goes infinite. But without Ukima, how do they actually win in 1 turn? But Uro's infinite life. Can I deck them? How does this game work without Ukima in the deck? We're just drawing cards here. Okay, Uro's infinite. Well, it's not though. They can draw their whole deck and put all their creatures into play. Is there a win condition without Ukima? I don't want to just make them do this because I can, but gaining 3 life also draws a card. Well, they put so they draw their deck and put every land from their deck into play. If they have Endurance, this strat doesn't matter. I don't know. I guess I want to see it. I don't play Supreme Verdict or anything. Just trying to think, like, even if they just stop right now and pass the turn, what does that look like? Can I even win from this position? I don't think so. Because Harpy can just bounce pick up whatever I would be targeting. All right, no, I'm good. I'm good. Sorry to make you do all those clicks, opponent. Okay, both games I forgot my roll or blinked from my roll for a second. Game 1, I suspected they were a Lauren, but wasn't entirely sure, and I let the shields down a little bit. And I did it to protect a mentor. And then game 3, I was like, I got mentor in play, let's put the foot on the gas. Having such a powerful creature in my deck, I think threw me for a loop of they're basically dead, keep casting spells, versus like, I'm a control deck, they'll die if I don't. So I messed up my roll in that last round in the two games I lost in the match. Obviously, if I let that brainstorm resolve, their hand improves, but their hand was already perfect. Their 4-card hand was just a Lauren, Force Blue card, and Recruiter. So they got me. Anyway, this deck felt like it was not quite firing on all the cylinders that I expect from a Legacy control deck. I think we're trying to do too much with the mana base. How many times did Expressive Iteration just miss this league? Whether I needed a land and didn't hit it, or like I hit 3 spells that I couldn't cast any of. Like I feel like I cast Anticipate 3 or 4 times in this league, which is pretty tough. Obviously, Expressive Iteration is an insanely powerful card. If I were to make adjustments, I would make the mana more stable and not cut Expressive Iterations. This card's great. Solitude was kind of clunky. Basically never came up. The main deck, Flusterstorm and Pyroblast, both had moments they were good and moments they were bad. Like, those are slots that you could smooth out, but they are flex slots you can target a metagame with. Honestly, I just felt like, and it kills me to say this, believe me, Mentor was not the plan I wanted here. Maybe I just didn't play it right, but just the way these games played out, slamming Mentor and riding it to victory never really happened. Like, it happened once, I think, and otherwise it was just sort of like a 3-mana thing that I never really had a clean chance to deploy. I really like Wandering Emperor as a win condition in Jeskai. Like, I'd probably be on 2 of these and 1 less Mentor. Even just changing that number, I feel like that improves the deck. Snapcaster Mage is always good, so I don't regret Snapcaster Mage. I wish I saw more of it. I kind of just want, like, more Planeswalkers in these decks. Like, if the Solitude was Narset number 4, one of the Mentors was another Wandering Emperor, and then one of these flex counterspells, like Flusterstorm probably, was another Teferi, or even a Jace. Like, I don't really love Jace in this main deck Pyroblast format, but it is an undeniably powerful card on a stable board, and the problem with a deck like this is if you 1-for-1 yourself too much, then you're both out of gas. You need some 2-for-1s, and the Jeskai play pattern of like 1-for-1 both of you until the dust settles and you have a Wandering Emperor, or you Narset into Days Undoing or whatever, doesn't work with Mentor because this card needs spells to keep going. And 4 Expressive Iteration is the right way to keep a Mentor fed and happy, but like Solitude, while cool, did not do what I needed to. Force of Negation doesn't protect Mentor on your own turn. I think that's a problem. That might be better as like Dovin's Veto or just actual Counterspell. Counterspell's probably uncastable in this deck, though, with 4 lands that don't cast it. The mana is doing a lot. Like, we're trying to support Blood Moon. We're trying to play around Wasteland. We're trying to Mystic Sanctuary. We've got a Prismatic Vista in the deck with Mystic Sanctuary that it doesn't fetch. I think there's something better that can be done here. Kind of getting the feeling like you walk into your house and everything is 3 inches to the left, and it's weird and you're not quite sure why. Because I've played every one of these cards before and they've been good, but this deck, or the way this league played out, felt slightly wrong, slightly underpowered. And I think just some card selection, cleaning up the Solitude into a powerful Planeswalker, like that sort of stuff would cover the gap a lot. I'm going to leave that there. Sam, thank you for asking me to play Jeskai Mentor. I know this deck's been popular lately. Don't think it's for me. I would not register this deck for a serious tournament the way that felt. But I'm going to stop beating that dead horse. I'm going to just sign off there. Jeskai is cool. Blue rules. I think we can do better right now in the metagame. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the links, the Patreon, all that stuff. Check out Coalesce Apparel. Use the code BoshNRoll to get 10% off your order. Do all that stuff. And I'll see you next time.